Alright, I kind of want to go over the BDS Heretics thing, because that's never really happened before in pro play. Ender told me something really funny about this series, and caster volume up. Dude, I was losing my mind on this cast. I really was losing my mind. I really was losing my mind in this cast. Hopefully I didn't sound like too much of a psychopath. So the plan for BDS, I've never seen this before. I expected Sion to walk in alone and do red buff, and die, and then TP top, just to fuck the Wukong. Because this game is all about bot, right? They're playing Gragas into Sion. This game is literally all about bot. Because you have control mages mid, tanks top. All that matters is this, kinda. So whoever's bot first wins. And if they can invade bot, take away his camps, perfect. And that's the plan, and it works. This is really worth it. Sion being down a level, or creeps, doesn't matter. He leashes 3 camps. So something Ender said here, which I actually thought was kind of smart. It might take too long though, but hear us out. What they could do is they could leave the Krugs on low HP, have Sion tank the Krugs here, just on the Patience edge, let the Krugs kill Sion, Vi finishes the Krugs, the small ones, after killing the big ones, and then his Sion passive can run into tower and tank it when the wave crashes, and he can tank the tower for them and die, and then he won't give a kill over, because he'll class as executed because he's already dead. And maybe that gives them an extra 2 or 3 tower shots to pull off a 2 for 0. Now, to me, it's like, holy shit, that's fucking dank as hell. But I think it takes too long, and it dies too fast. But I thought the idea was interesting. Anyway, I like the idea from BDS. Just dive bot. The only problem is they get found before, and they get Gragas TP. So the idea for BDS is plan A is dive bot, plan B is get Gragas TP, and then TP top for Sion, and then he will recover what he lost. But the benefit is all bot camps are gone, right? That's basically the trade-off. It's like a game of ping pong. So ideally here, they back away, Adam runs, and he TP's top and gets out. But Mursa stops his TP, and that's just made the whole game into a clown fiesta. Because now Sion is fucked. You know why? Because top wave is crashed, and it's going to bounce. Now ideally what would happen is Adam would TP top, catch this wave, level up, and push this next wave, and then base, and then he would be even with Gragas. They'd be the exact same. The only difference is Vi is really far ahead. And it's smart. Makes a lot of sense. But now the game is just fucked. Like, he is absolutely screwed. Ebby's in a great spot because top wave's coming into him now. Sion's lost everything. So I thought here the game's done. But then, somehow, Shio, despite like being on bot side and being spotted on bot, is getting a kill mid. Somehow, with a Victor lane of all champs, he gets a kill mid. Sure. And then Adam kills Mursa. Like, what the fuck is going on? They had all the information in the world, and they've got a free first blood. And Jankos is just standing there like, what the fuck is happening? So Adam's like recovered. He's actually up in... Like, look at his cheer. He knows how fucked he was, and now he's like, I got a kill, thank God for that. You see Adam's face? Like, he knows how screwed the game was, but he actually is kind of saved from that. He's not out of the woods, you know, but it's like, it's playable. Anyway, Nuke can TP back and catch the wave. Victor has a kill. Sion has a kill. And now Jankos runs into Vi's top side because obviously he has no bot camps. But it's kind of hard to go in because he loses 1v1. So the whole plan failed. We want to see the replay. How did he die mid, actually? Does it show us? He just walked up. Did not have WEQ, doesn't have anything, doesn't... Okay. I don't know how Adam gets that kill. And then Jankos was here a second ago. And he hasn't based. So I'm guessing he ran down like this, looking for something on bot to cover their push out or something. And then he just died. So I didn't see enough context there. Adam's level 2. So top... to be honest, it doesn't... like... As long as bot's winning, and it's... like, if it was a Camille top or something, I'd be worried. But as long as bot's winning, it doesn't really matter. Like, just fucking buy your ruby crystals. Buy your ruby crystals and stop inting. Yeah, I actually think you're right. You're right. I think what Adam should do here is just die for the wave. I think he should just full bounce it. He should just walk forwards, get that caster creep. Charge Q on the wave, die, get the wave in. And then at least his game is kind of saved. But instead he runs mid and recalls. Baus gets the crash here. But yeah, Shio just don't enter topside ever. Yeah, Shio comes. They fight really hard bot. Nice kill. Really nice. And Adam's 3 levels down. There's a 3 level down sound on my screen. Is this the Baus strategy? Not really. No, he's doing the opposite. Normally the Baus dies for minions. He's dying for no minions. Yeah, the whole plan is fucked. Like, the game is just destroyed for Adam. What is he supposed to do? Like, he can't take enemy jungle camps. He's too weak. He can't take his own jungle camps. This was good by Heretics, but BDS turn it because their AD carry is obviously here and their enemies isn't. Crowny was first on the move. Crowny played really well this game. He basically carried the game for them. Adam tries to get a plate, but he's 4 levels down. And then he runs back top to catch his wave. And you can see he's not very high on the experience bar, is he? He's basically half the experience almost of Mersa. He's just kind of wandering around, you know, just looking for something to do. And then he gets a top wave. So now he was like kind of fine after this. Well, not kind of fine, but I'm just surprised that Ebby wasn't actually able to do much. Despite being this far ahead in levels, he didn't really impact the game at all. Nice hook, chunks out Rakan a little bit. But Shio is just living bot side, and he's ahead of Jankos by a mile because of... actually, not by a mile. Jankos has recovered quite well, but he gets his second red. Adam takes Krugs, it's good. Support matches with jungle. They can't really do a mid dive here. Sion's just catching waves, you know? Like, right now, Ebby gets a plate. He has TP advantage, and he's up 4 levels. Soon to be 3. Like, this roam just feels weird. Like, here, why doesn't he just push this wave with his Qs and then roam? Because now Adam gets the wave into tower, and now Ebby's sitting on the tower at level 8, which I feel like he could have stayed for an extra wave, and then just kept coming back up to push in the waves, and at least fog towards mid to stop Victor from getting push, you know? Like, if he could push this wave out top right now in his face, and then just run down and sit in fog on his pink ward in Tribush, then Victor constantly has to lean bot side, helps a little bit, and then he keeps coming back for the next top waves. Keep Adam under tower, just helps a tiny bit. To be honest, I wouldn't even mind it if Abby just started fucking... Adam just started fucking proxying. So, Adam tries to stop Jankos from taking his red. Spoiler, Adam dies. But, he stopped him from taking red. So, yeah, fuck you. Now, this I didn't like at all from Heretics. So, the situation they're in is kind of awkward, because Aphelios is going back to bot wave. Right, let's watch me map. Thresh is running mid. He sees them hovering down, so Jack Spectre has to give up bot. And the reason they have to do that is because Sion is dying top. If Wukong was around bot side, they could stop this and fight 3v3 and defend this tower. But because Wukong is top fighting the Sion, they're 2 versus 3, even 4. So they have to give up. So Heretics' plan then is just give up bot, let's Herald mid as 4. Which is, I mean, it's a play, but Xayah, you're giving Xayah a full bot tower in isolation. And you're sharing a wave between 2 carries and plates between 4 champions. So, yeah, that bot situation is horrible. At least Evie is getting some plates, I guess. Adam dies again. It's just a 4v5 game. I think maybe what Heretics could have done, in hindsight, is at this point, when Adam bases and TP's top, what they could try to do is get Aphelios Thresh a push out here. Just some kind of wave. And swap them top with Herald. Have Gragas lane bot with TP. Try to stall the dive, because the Sion is actually really easy to dive. Herald top tier 1 into tier 2. And just keep mismatching Xayah Rakan. I think that's the way they get back into this game. They swap and mismatch. And they keep matching their bot lane into Sion. And Ebby can wave clear against Xayah Rakan. Maybe he gets dove, but they have Herald to make up for it. I think that's... Like here, coming out of base, they should run top, I think. Here, they should run top. Where Jankos is. And then as soon as Jankos is like fighting this guy and pushes him out, they would join Gragas, Herald top, and they could play for tier 2. I think this would be a way better play than just sitting bot and watching your towers just get fucked. They do eventually, thank god. Okay, so they do swap. They do swap. I think they're kind of late on the swap, but eventually they do, because look at Crowny, he can come up quite quickly. He can come up quite quickly. Oh, they get a kill. But now they're matching, and they just use 2 ults. Yeah, so now you've lost all your tempo on bot lane, because you killed the Sion. So now your Azir is getting dove. Nice stop on the dive, though. They got Gragas TP. Their bot lane goes mid. And, I mean, BDS are still winning. Look at the AD gold situation. Not great. That's mainly because of the tower, I think. And the CS lead, obviously. The Heretics need to get creative and Sometimes pro players, depending on their personality type or like how they see the game, they wait for opportunities or they wait to do what to be told, you know? Some pro players, when they're ahead, can take the reins of a game and just run around the map and just carry alone. Like if you give a pro player like 2 or 3 kills, like Upset's a good example of a player because I've played with him. If you get bot lane ahead, Upset, his voice, like the amount that he talks increases so much. He'll tell you what he needs, where he needs you to be, what he wants to do, where he wants to go, how he wants to snowball the game, and he'll like, you know, just call everything you need. And I think having players like that in your team that when they're ahead know how to close out the game is really important. Like if Ebby has this kind of lead, I feel like he should be really vocal in what he wants to do. Like where Sion is, where he wants to be, where he can match Sion, what he like needs to do, how he wants to, you know, he's like maybe making plans, him or Mursa. Someone can make plans about how to fix bot situation. Like let's swap, let's do this, let's play for TP. Like they have TP advantage. Like can they just get creative with something? Like I just feel like they're just sitting there waiting for things to happen. And their swap was good, but it was late. Like thinking on the fly, it just needs to be quicker. If you're like just identifying patterns, right? If Jankos is going topside because he can't enter his own bot jungle, then does that mean you can walk up bot and get your... No, you can't. Maybe I'm asking too much, but it's something you need to know from the comms and like how the team's functioning and stuff like that to fix that situation. So nothing really happened until the next Drake. They're just farming sides. Sion slowly recovers back into the game. Crownie gets, I think, towards 2.5, 3 items, and everyone's waiting for Drake. That's all that happens in this game now. And then Drake starts about to spawn, and actually BDS mispositioned a little bit because I think Crownie greets for red buff here. He wants red buff, but there's 2 things going on here. One, Nuke is TPing to get this midwave in, and so is Heretics because they know how important this midwave is. But BDS is already here, so if Crownie can join Nuke on this midwave, then they actually have a threat of engage, right? So they can hold the river. But what ends up happening is BDS have to give up the river because Crownie's not here, and they kind of have to back away. But red buff is important, I get it, but they lost control for it, kind of, you know? I feel like maybe they could have held a bit more if they just gave up this red buff. But anyway, red buff is really broken. He wanted it. I get it. And they have to play on the next midwave. So now when they play on the next midwave, which is ideally how the game should have been playing out on the last wave, they have to force really hard to get into the pit, otherwise they're going to finish it. And then I think because they have like really good setup, Heretics, I mean, Jankos just turns really well. Jankos' turn here is just really insane. He gets 3, gets Xayah ult instantly. And then Xayah gets threatened on a flash of 0 ult, so he has to Gale Force out. Nuke gets hooked. Like, everyone's fucked in this fight for BDS. And Xayah can't hit. So really well played by Jankos. And Heretics. Then they stop the soul. Then it's a bit of a Baron dance for a little bit. Maybe I'm just going to skip through real quick. Because what happens is BDS force Nash. This was really weird to me. This is the next like important play in the game. BDS clear out Vision topside. They see Gragas bot. Then they just start Nash. Because they want to get Gragas TP. Adam's just there to zone. He's 4.5 levels down. Evie's just split pushing on Gragas. He TP's in way too late. Labrov and Adam just hug Jankos and stop him from getting into the pit. And they evacuate and they got Nash. So, again, just feels like these things shouldn't be happening. So now BDS have Nash. And this Nash is going to go into Soul Point, which means they can control the map pretty easy. Like, it's not a surprise. Brownie has Stopwatch. 3 item Xayah. He's super strong. Heretics are just slow to react to everything, I think. BDS run it down mid because they get a pick on the Jack Spectra because he's walking up on midwave when his Thresh is not there, I guess. Really good play by BDS. I mean, Jack Spectra, if you look at the minimap, is pinging assistance. So he's probably saying, I want to push this midwave in. And as much as you want to do something, that's great. Happy days. First of all, they have Nash. Second of all, your jungle and mid are on your top side. So even if you want to fight this midwave, you don't have the numbers for it. And it's good to like want to do something, but you need to make sure you can do it. And I think it's probably him pinging this midwave saying, let's push it in. But then he realizes, wait, hang on a second. My team's in fucking Africa Freaks. And he's not playing Gale Force, so he can't just Gale Force to a Lantern or something. And he didn't have Flash, so he dies. BDS get mid and hip. They get Soul. They get another fight as well, because Heretics tried to force here. Jankos gets like a nice Flash ult on their backline to go onto Crownie. And then Ruby tries to follow it, so watch the Azir here. He tries to E-Flash ult 4 of them, but then he gets knocked up by Rakan W as he does it. and dies. And now this is where the game's kind of over. This is where the game's kind of over, because that was their last chance. They had to fight because they didn't have Jack for Drake spawn, so they had to try something on a 4v5. Didn't work. They lost Soul. Spoiler. And then they are just way too far ahead because Crownie is unkillable. TP behind was a nice try. Jankos engages, but like there's a Mountain Soul, Guardian Angel, Xayah with 4 items. And Adam, even though he's fucking 3, 4, 5, 6 levels down, look at his job. He just has to stand there and look at Jack Spectre in the eye. So Jack Spectre eventually kills him, but by the time he does, like, the rest of his team's dead. So I don't know what Ebby did in this fight. What did he do? He walked up, E'd, ulted, Q'd, and then died. Not much he can do really, is there? He's trying, bless him. And then BDS win. So Adam wins, you know? He's 140 CS, 1-7. He's 4 levels down, and he gets the dub. So yeah, that was a really cool game. That was a really funny game, actually. Funny game. I've never seen this kind of Sion Inting before. Normally it's just die for buff. But this was die for team, top gap. I mean, he did get them early Drakes, I guess.